What is the purpose of life? Yes, as always, I pick the easy questions. Why not? Might as well, huh? So if you've been following these videos, this channel, this Substack, you know that I bring answers to these questions from my own perspective, from my own journey. And of course, this one is obviously not a small task to answer, as this has been the topic and theme of many philosophers, many great minds and hearts across human history. Obviously, many religions are dealing with that issue, or that question rather. And so, through my journey, obviously that was a question that I had in my mind. What is this thing called life? Where are we? Why are we here? And what is my role in all this stuff? So I went through certain mythology books and certain like ancient history kind of things, and trying to find the answer. I wasn't really super concerned. It wasn't a burning question on the top of my mind, but it was always sort of there in the back of my mind. So as my spiritual journey unfolded, that question became louder and louder in my head. But I never really felt that I received an answer that was satisfactory to me. Not even from the gurus, not even from the best-selling authors and books, and not from religion either. So I kept searching. And when I came across the opportunity, the invitation to look inside myself and explore my own consciousness, explore my own subconscious mind, explore my heart, explore my entire emotional body in a way that I'd never done before, then it became rather obvious to me that the purpose of life, at least in my life, was to heal my trauma, my pain, my fears, my anxieties, all those negative emotions that kept weighing me down, but that I didn't really feel on the front of my consciousness, of my awareness on a day-to-day basis. It was all playing out on a subconscious level, but it was creating certain patterns and behaviors and thoughts, and dislikes and preferences that really weren't me. And that's kind of hard to explain, but it was basically the pain and the fear that I had carried basically since childhood was informing my everyday decisions. What kind of people I can hang out with, what kind of money I can make, what kind of career I can have, what's possible for me and what's not possible for me. So all these kinds of mental structures and mental cages really were there in my own consciousness, in my own awareness, but I wasn't privy to that. It was something like a background program running in my own mind, creating a reality and often experiences and situations that I didn't like. I just didn't know why those things kept happening. So as I kept digging deeper and deeper into my own consciousness, and I started releasing some of those fears and some of those anxieties and pains and self-doubts and questioning, self-limitation and things of that nature, inhibitions. As those things started to come out, I started getting access to my true self, my real true self, my soul self. Instead of just being in the head and being in the mind and navigating life through this very narrow lens of mind perception. So then I started realizing, oh, wow, the purpose of life, the way I see it, in my own reality, is I have to heal. I have to heal myself. I have to heal all these old pains and fears and frustrations and anxieties that I was carrying around for 30 plus years. I have to heal myself because I don't really know who I am. Because on top of the true self that is me, my true essence, is all this crap that I have accumulated over my life. So I don't really know who I am without all the fears and the pains and the anxieties and stuff. I don't know. So that then became my first purpose. You know, that at least I need to see this through to the end. I need to heal myself as much as I can, as fast as I can, because otherwise I'm walking around in my own life completely blinded by my own fears and anxieties and pains that are creating things subconsciously that I don't like. So that then became my purpose. I was on a very deep healing journey, and still am to a degree, over the past few years, since 2022, and I uncovered a lot of things that I didn't even think were still in me, like, you know, this old dysfunctional relationship I used to have with this girl, and there were still deep pains inside of me that I had carried subconsciously. I thought I was completely over all that stuff, but I wasn't. Evidently, I wasn't. So as I then started to heal myself and more of this junk, really this emotional, energetic junk, as I was coming out of my being, out of my system, I started realizing, oh, okay, that's not me, that's not me. These are all mental cages, mental patterns that were created as a coping mechanism for my pain and my fears and my anxieties. So that's not me. So I can just let that go. I'm not gonna, think those thoughts anymore. I'm not gonna participate in those behaviors, because that's not my true self. And as more of that was unraveling, I started realizing a lot of people, almost everyone, is in the same condition. We have fears, we have pains, we have anxieties, we have self-doubt, self-limiting beliefs, and all that stuff, primarily from our early childhood years, that we still carry around to this day. And so we wonder why so many people get so easily triggered for stuff that's not really that worthy of being triggered and having an outrageous outburst. So then I realized, okay, so this is not just my purpose. This should be everyone's purpose. I mean, if we don't heal ourselves, then we don't know really who we are, who we truly are, our true essence, our soul essence that wants to express itself through us, but it can't, because there's so much pain and so much fear and anxieties that are stopping us from expressing our true self. One quick example you can think of is, think of a situation in your life where you 100%, or at least for the majority, followed your heart. You followed your heart's desire, regardless of what the mind told you, regardless of what kind of fear or anxieties you were feeling. You knew in your heart this is the right thing to do, and you went for it regardless of what anyone said or how you otherwise thought about it. How the mind told you, oh, don't do that, it's going to be dangerous, or it's going to be uncomfortable, or you're going to be laughed at, whatever the case may be. But you did it anyways. You followed your heart and you went through with it. Now think about, how did that play out? Was that a nice experience? Did that experience turn out well? Most of the time, as far as I have seen, the answer is yes. When you followed your heart, something amazing happened. You made a beautiful relationship, you entered a new amazing career that's more fitting to you and what you want to do. Whatever the case may be, you went on that trip to that vacation and you had an absolutely amazing time. So when we follow our heart, amazing, magical things happen. But most of the time, we can't access our heart. We can't listen to our heart, because the noise of the pain and the fear in our head is so loud that it drowns out our true heart's desire. And when I started realizing that, like, wow, okay, all right, I got it. I need to clean my temple. This is our temple. All religions tell us that in one way or another. I need to clean my temple of all the fears and pains and anxieties and all the other junk that is in there that's not me, to let my heart and my soul finally express their true self, their true essence, my true self. So that became my purpose. And I went on this healing journey very, very intensely, very dynamically. And, I did these retreats almost every month to really dig deep. And, it was amazing. I mean, when I had to face my childhood pain, it was that night I was on the floor basically for 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours, just contorting in pain and screaming and letting it all out. It was no fun, not by any stretch of the imagination, but I knew I had to do it because I wanted it all out. A friend of mine was with me and he was helping me through that whole experience, and he said, do you want to take a break? I said, no, I want it all out. I want it all out. And so I kept going because I knew at the end of that very painful experience would be a whole new life. And this has not been that long. It's just been a couple of days, really, at the time of this recording. And I can already start feeling the shifts, amazing shifts start happening. I can feel myself being sort of transformed from the inside out, from the heart side out. So a new self is starting to express itself, but it's all coming from the heart space. And I don't know where this is going. I'm just along for the ride, really. But it feels wonderful. It feels amazing. So, but it took me a long time to get there. So back to the purpose of life. Okay, so we know that we don't really know who we are until we get most of the pains and the fears out of our body, out of our system, out of the subconscious. Okay, so then once we start to realize who we really are and who our soul is and what our soul wants to bring forward, how it wants to express itself through us and through our heart, then the purpose of your life will naturally reveal itself. I mean, for me, now these videos and the Substack and writing is becoming something that I enjoy really more than anything else. And last year at the same time, I didn't have this desire to speak and to write publicly that much. But this is now what's coming through me, and I'm enjoying the process very much. And it's not work for me. I don't consider it work because I enjoy every single aspect of it. So what is it for you? What is the purpose of your life? You may not know the answer to that yet because you haven't really taken out all that junk, like I said. So there is a purpose for every single life here on this realm. And it's your job to find out what that purpose is for you and your life in this individual incarnation. And it's a wonderful journey. Yes, it's tough and it's hard, but it will reap you the greatest rewards. Because otherwise, what else is there? Okay, you get rich, congratulations. Now what? You buy a bunch of toys, you buy a bunch of houses. Great, now what? Can you take those with you into the afterlife? Obviously not. Okay? How many rich people, so to speak, they have everything in the world. They have all the toys, they have all the millions that you could throw at them. But they're depressed. They're addicted to drugs. They're alcoholics. They're terrible people, hurting others emotionally and in other ways too. Okay? What's happening? What's going on? They haven't realized that it's about their soul, that their soul has to heal from whatever traumas they went through as children. And then, maybe being an actor, maybe being a famous influencer isn't really their calling in life, isn't their purpose. But that's how they make their money. So of course, they keep going for it. But I tell you what, and this is not something that I have yet experienced myself, but that's probably going to play out. I hope so. And that is the fact that when you fully commit and live your heart's desire, your soul's purpose, your life's purpose, you will be taken care of. All of your needs will be met. All the money you need will be there, because you are now in perfect harmony and total flow with life itself, with God, the universe, with the quantum field, with the universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it. You are in harmony, you're in flow, you're aligned with your soul's purpose, and everything then will conspire with you to support you. I see this in many of my brothers and sisters who are on this journey with me. And, one of my teachers, he lives paycheck to paycheck. He has 2 kids, one of them going to college now. They have a house, they have 2 cars, and he just does work like this, one-on-one, and also group sessions, guiding people through these uncharted waters of your own soul and your own psyche, your subconscious, and helping you get those pains out of your system. That's all he does. That's all they do. And, they're living a beautiful life. No savings, paycheck to paycheck. It's been working well for them for over 10 years. So he's living his purpose fully every day. So now it's your turn. How can you get in touch with your purpose? Have you started healing yourself? Have you started looking within and looking at your patterns and your behaviors that may not be working so well in your favor? Do you need help finding someone who can guide you through this? Because yes, it is a labyrinth, let me tell you. Absolutely, it's a labyrinth. So, but the first step is you acknowledging, I need to heal. I need to heal myself. I need to heal my pains, my fears, my anxieties, in order to get closer to my soul, and therefore also get closer to my purpose in life. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments what you think and what you feel. I always love hearing from you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Plane, 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 still a plane, dog. Okay, well, let's get going then. This is a question, obviously, that has baffled many brilliant minds, many great philosophers, myth.